Alright, welcome. This is the tutorial on the paint tool. I'm sitting up here on a design that I have created long ago and is now for the first time being placed back into the world since the previous wipe, and I'm looking at it and I'm not really too excited about some of the effects that are happening with the shapes that I had created previously. It looks like there's some sort of artifacting that's kind of a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to try to do is show you how to use the paint tool, which is one of our basic tools, and what you can do with that to kind of hopefully fix some of those things. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the paint tool by using hotkey 4, or I can click on the actual icon. The 4 is default. And as you can see here I'm now painting just by putting a little blue square on whatever it is, and lo and behold, it's actually removing a lot of that weird artifacting, but it's not the best color. I'm not a big fan of it, but it is removing a lot of the artifacting, and it's taken a while to select all that and go, hey, look what I'm selecting. So I'm gonna go pick a different color and see if I can do something and maybe pick some of that up. I'm still not happy, but we'll use it for example. To help speed up the painting process, I can use my selection tool and pick a particular block there. Now I see a selection here is popped through. That is one block, and I'm going to use my paint tool with the selection tool by pressing 4 while something's selected. You'll see the color of the selection tool change. I press that button and now I've got a different texture covering up that entire area, because paint tool does not change any of the shapes that are made, only the material information in there. So I could, simply click block by block, and who knows how long that'll take, and it may or may not solve my problem. It will definitely change the material information so that way it'll look different, but that may or may not be, something that I want. You can undo it if you don't like it through the undo command, as long as you didn't go too far through the memory of particular features to use. But in the meantime, you can go through and you can just color it and pick something, like say we want to turn this into something like elfin glass crystal. We're going to pick a spot and we're just going to select. We're going to use our hotkey to change it to paint mode again. Notice it's blue. I've now got a really crazy glass feature, like really warping through, but you notice how it doesn't affect anything underneath it. It doesn't affect anything around it. It's only changing the corresponding material for that particular spot. Now, granted, with the way I made this previously, the rendering engine still doesn't like it, but this gives you a pretty clear idea on how you can change the actual color and material of an item. And that's really just what the paint tool does. Don't forget, if you want to cover a large area, you can also, we're going to switch here just for the sake of, switch the material, scroll, make it bigger, and then click, and you can cover larger areas. But keep in mind, just like the add tool, that requires a lot more material than if you're just doing single voxel or controlling it with your selection, because even though you can't see it, it's still going to cover a cubed amount of space to whatever size. So 13 times 13 times 13, and that's how many blocks you're going to need. So if you're just doing an outer layer, maybe not the best idea. And you can still undo it, like I said earlier. And that's the paint tool. It's pretty simple, pretty basic. There are some limitations. Obviously, if you have a really complex shape, you're going to want to paint things outside of being in that complex shape, because you don't want to accidentally paint parts that you shouldn't. So be sure to put on a coat of paint to whatever you want prior to going nuts with any sort of super complex stuff. In the meantime, continue building, have fun with it, and we'll see you next time.